Hey, I'm Look Mum No Computer, and you may notice I'm currently not in my usual abode. I'm with Arnie Schwarzenegger right now. I'm up in sunny North England working on a project for a couple of weeks. But enough of that jiff jaff, because we're actually here to talk about this thing. There we go. The Arturia Minibrute 2S. I'm not sure what the S stands for. Someone said it stands for sequencer because it's the sequencer version of the keyboard-laden Minibrute 2, but I like to think it might stand for spaghetti. I'm not going to touch on its features loads because Bo Beats has done a pretty comprehensive video of that, so has Andrew Huang. But needless to say, with any rather in-depth product, there's a lot more to be covered. If you haven't seen either of those two videos on the Minibrute 2S, spaghetti. This is basically what would happen if a Minibrute and a Beatstep Pro fell into some radioactive gloop and got found a couple of hours later by a search party, finding that they have morphed together, gaining some pretty favourable mutations, including a Minibrute synth voice with a heck of a lot more features and a patch bay, 4 sequencing lines and all that jizz. Anyway, enough of the small talk, let's get this plugged in and have a play. Whew! So it's now plugged up. It's got all of the oscillators, saw, square, triangle, with the Arturia wave folding metalizer, which folds it on itself like a bit of puff pastry. You got some noise, all that jazz. Oscillator 2, which you can make like, I had it as a sub oscillator. It's got the same Steiner Parker filter as all of the other Arturias. It's got 2 envelope generators, it's got 2 LFOs, it's got a patch bay that's got an extra VCA in there and an inverter. It's got a sequencer that can control it all. You put all of this stuff together and you've got a pretty mean machine. The really cool thing about the sequencer is it's got 2 extra levels of sequencing on top of what the Beatstep Pro would have. You can easily add slides. This one's got ratcheting, so you go over to gate, shift, and you can make them. Sweet. So now we go over to these two, Mod 1 and Mod 2. And what these do is they're just extra levels of expression. One great thing is the pads are velocity sensitive and you can record in that expression. You can actually use these to record in extra expressions, and you can patch it to other parameters on this patch bay, so you could get it to do loads of crazy stuff. So now I've got the Minibrute 2S right next to this Beatstep Pro, and behind it is part of my homemade modular synthesizer. The first thing I'm going to do is hook the Beatstep Pro to this. It's as easy as getting a stereo headphone jack, plugging it into the clock out of the Arturia Beatstep, and then plugging it into clock of the sequencer. And then I go sync, clock, and then press play and it'll play at the same time. Damn! I'm going to quickly mash some notes in here. I'm going to plug an envelope that's triggered by the kick straight into the inverter, and then I'm going to plug the output of the inverter straight into a knob that's attached to the amplifier. So amazing, we've got a sidechain that's triggered by the kick and it's turning it up and down, making it duck, so it makes it sound bigger and you can turn it up more. So yeah, that was one of my first experiences with the Minibrute 2S. All in all, there's a lot of possibilities with this, with the patch bay and the loads of different sequencing options and all the added features to the Minibrute analog sound synth. I'm looking forward to getting home and playing with this more, and you probably see a proper performance of me with this pretty soon. So yeah, peace.